A manhunt is underway in the U.S. state of Louisiana to nab a 21-year-old man who is suspected of killing 5 people, including his parents. According to authorities, the suspect, Dakota Theriot, first shot his parents and then proceeded to shoot 3 others, including a teenager. Investigators are still trying to find the motive behind the shootings. Venezuela's opposition leader Juan Guaido, who recently declared himself as interim president of the country, has denied that he met with a government figure. Authorities have sent out a video which they claim shows Guaido meeting with the head of the country's Socialist Party a day before Guaido's claim to power. The surveillance video showed an individual in a hood over his face arriving at a Caracas hotel for the meeting. Guaido has said that it was not him, according to Communications Minister Jorge Rodriguez. In the meeting, Guaido admitted that he was under pressure from U.S. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's close aide, Diosdado Cabello, has hit out at the European Union after the body called for a fair election in Venezuela. Within 8 days, Cabello said that Venezuelans won't take orders from others. Meanwhile, self-proclaimed President Juan Guaido thanked European nations for their support after the EU member states signaled that they were set to follow Washington in recognizing him as the country's rightful leader. A day after agreeing to temporarily end the government shutdown, U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to declare emergency if he does not reach a deal with the Democrats on the Mexico border wall. Shortly after he announced a deal with Democrats to reopen the government for 3 weeks while negotiators tried to reach a deal to end the longest shutdown in U.S. history, Trump reiterated his case for a border wall and suggested he will declare a national emergency to build the wall if he has to. Declaring a national emergency would allow Trump to bypass Congress and use existing money to start building the wall. An expert panel in Germany has urged the country's government to shut down all of its coal-fired power plants by 2038 at the latest. The committee has proposed a whopping 40 billion euros, that is nearly $46 billion, in aid to regions that get affected. Due to this phase-out, Germany has many coal mining states which will be affected by the push for renewable energy. This wasn't an easy decision at all. The so-called Coal Commission has been struggling to reach consensus on the issue for the last few months. Even today's agreement comes after a last round of talks which lasted 20 hours straight. The anti-government Yellow Vest protesters continued for the 11th consecutive weekend in France despite President Macron's decision to call for a national debate. The demonstrators took to the streets of capital Paris during the night. Police had to use tear gas to disperse the protesters. The Yellow Vest protest, which began as anti-fuel tax protest, has now become a broader movement against Macron's economic policies. Earlier this month, the French president called for a debate in which the citizens would express their opinions on government policies. Several thousand people marched through snow-covered streets of Serbian capital of Belgrade, protesting against the populist government of President Aleksandar Vučić. Demonstrators accused Vučić of stifling freedom of expression in the Balkan country that was involved in a series of wars during the 1990s. He denies the accusation, blaming freezing temperatures, and president's critics blocked traffic in the center of Belgrade as they marched by the state TV building and toward the government headquarters. The protest initially started after an opposition politician was assaulted in November. A wake was held for an 8-year-old Guatemalan boy who died in the custody of the U.S. border agents last December. According to authorities, the boy had suffered from a flu at the time of his death, but the exact cause of his demise has not been known yet. Gomez Alonso was the second Guatemalan child to die in the month of December while being held by U.S. authorities, sparking outrage from immigration advocates. Gomez fell ill after being detained near the border with Mexico with his father. The two had traveled to the U.S. from a remote village in Guatemala. Heavy snowfall slowed traffic and pedestrians on the streets of the Russian capital of Moscow. Snow piled up on pavements and side roads as street sweeper vehicles, snow plows and workers with shovels cleared the way for cars. This was the city's heaviest snowfall in nearly 70 years. The weather department has said that snowy weather is expected to last until next week. Authorities have issued a winter alert and have asked people to stay at home until the weather improves. An empty cruise ship in the American city of New York got stuck under a rail bridge after breaking loose from its moorings amid ice floes on the Hudson River. The four-deck ship and 6 other vessels drifted slowly downriver before coming to rest, causing a number of bridges to close. 2 Coast Guard ice-breaking cutters and 2 commercial tugboats were headed to the scene to pull the ship free. No injuries have been reported so far. Congress President Rahul Gandhi and UPA Chairperson Sonia Gandhi have arrived in Goa for a 3-day private visit. Congress has said that duo won't be meeting party workers during their visit. However, Rahul Gandhi is expected to meet party leaders and interact with Congress workers in the coastal state over the next few weeks in the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections and upcoming by-polls in 2 state legislative assembly constituencies in Goa. Chief Minister of the Eastern Indian state of Chhattisgarh, Bhupesh Baghel, has announced that his government would waive off 200 crore rupees worth of irrigation tax of farmers during his Republic Day address at the police parade ground. He also called for a permanent solution to improve the economic condition of farmers. Chief Minister's announcement comes just over a month after his government decided to waive farmers' short-term agricultural loans. Over 70 people from 15 different countries have gathered in Swiss Alps for the 41st edition of the annual Hot Air Balloon Festival. The organizers of the famous festival said that they were expecting a heavy footfall of more than 30,000 people. The festival, which was launched in 1979, features air displays, expositions and a night. This year's edition would also mark the 20th anniversary of the first tour of the world in a hot air balloon. Thousands of dancers dressed up in colorful costume took part in a traditional mask festival in western Bulgaria. The carnival in the city of Pernik, just west of the capital, attracted performers from all over the country as well as foreign dancers. The SURVA festival marks the culmination of traditional winter festivities that are believed to date back to ancient times. During the festival, masked men go through people's houses, ringing bells in the hope of driving away evil spirits and encouraging good harvest, health and happiness. The LGBT community of Myanmar held the first ever Pride Boat Parade of the country on the Yangon River. The participants, who donned colorful clothes, said that while the LGBT people have begun embracing their identities in big cities, they remain stigmatized in rural areas of Myanmar. A one-of-a-kind nomadic festival has been taking place in the African nation of Mauritania. A group of Canadians and Mauritanian musicians have been traveling through the desert for the past 10 days to celebrate a nomadic way of life. The group is accompanied by 10 camels, and the festival ends next week. Celebrations to mark Australia's National Day took place across the country, including a ceremony in Sydney to become and welcome the nation's newest citizens. Other Australia Day events included a traditional Aboriginal smoking ceremony in Adelaide and a flag-raising ceremony in Melbourne. A variety of parades, festivals and concerts also took place in other cities of Australia. Hundreds of Second World War history enthusiasts participated in the reenactment of the historic Battle of Leningrad, marking the 75th anniversary of the end of the siege that had lasted nearly 900 days, killing up to 700,000 civilians, making it one of the deadliest military campaigns in history. During the siege, Germany's Nazi forces had blocked the Russian city
годовщине победы советских войск.